Yo, what is up, guys? XRP is at $1.03 right now on CoinMarketCap. Our first tweet comes from the Crypto Square. X Money Beta is live. Elon Musk just launched X Money in beta. This is intended to be the place where all money is, the central source of all monetary transactions. If X becomes the everything app, fast global settlement rails like XRP make more sense than ever. Our next tweet comes from Elon Musk. Welcome to X Money. Let's watch this video. Smash that subscribe button and hit that like button if you believe XRP will reach $3 again this year. Our next tweet comes from Ripple. Ripple is on the road to clarity. Our clarity truck is on the move in DC as Congress continues work on transparent rules of the road for digital assets. The message is simple. The Clarity Act will protect consumers, support responsible innovation, and keep the US competitive. Our next tweet comes from Zave Crypto. SPI founder and CEO Miller Whitehouse Levine believes August 7th is the Senate's last real opportunity to pass crypto market structure legislation. Let's watch this video.
Industry peers, where are we going to get this Clarity Act passed?
Well, I think in an ideal world, July 4th would be would be the hard deadline. But I think.
But we can talk about why that's
Eleanor
not.
has some opinions
We
on
can
it.
talk about why that's not likely, right?
It's certainly aspirational. Congress needs a
aspirational.
deadline to do anything, so we got to have some sort of deadline.
Right.
My expectation is, to the extent all of this can come together, or looking at floor consideration in late July and early August, so the last few weeks of session before going into August recess. I think that's a fine timeline. I think it's the last opportunity really to get it done in the Senate. So I think it's absolutely critical it passes the Senate by August 7th, or I think the odds of its enactment this Congress.
Our next tweet comes from Bank XRP. Kraken and Bitnomio launched regulated crypto perpetuals on June 15. By June 17th, daily volume hit $1 million plus. XRP was included at launch alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and visible in the volume stack from day one. Regulated derivatives infrastructure is expanding. XRP is already on the list. Our next tweet comes from Ripple City. Just in, UK Parliament just submitted a proposal to use the XRP ledger for climate contingent convertible notes. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Massive news. Fed Governor Waller says dollar-backed stablecoins may create a new channel linking global liquidity demand directly to US Treasury markets. RLUSD is 1-to-1 US dollar backed. Let's watch this video.
Over the years, this gathering has aimed to bring together different perspectives to better understand the forces shaping the dollar's central role in the global financial system. Last year's conference, for instance, was focused on global investor allocation to U.S. safe assets and their liquidity in a time of geopolitical and technological change. This year, we are here to discuss the implications of financial innovations, especially digital assets, such as one of my favorite things, stablecoins, for the international roles of the U.S. dollar. One striking feature of these discussions has been how rapidly the underlying questions have evolved since the first conference in this series. While the traditional drivers of the central role of the U.S. dollar in the global monetary system, from the size, strength, and depth of the U.S. economy and financial markets to trust in U.S. institutions and rule of law, remain critically important today, the environment around these drivers is changing rapidly. Technological innovation is increasingly altering how households and businesses interact with U.S. dollars, whether it is through holding new types of assets or through changes to the payment rails by which dollar-denominated assets are transferred, intermediated, and settled. Distributed ledger technologies and tokenized assets, such as stablecoins, are creating new channels for global dollar intermediation that operate alongside, or sometimes in conjunction with, traditional banking and payment systems. As a result, the dollar's international role is also evolving. The private sector is moving rapidly to expand access to dollar-denominated assets, innovate in new financial services, and explore potential business opportunities that perhaps did not make sense with legacy technologies. In doing so, there will be complements to the traditional financial sector, and there will also be areas of competition, which is good. As an economist, I believe that is a good thing. More competition generally leads to better outcomes for both consumers and society as a whole. The papers presented at this year's conference collectively highlight how broad and multidimensional the integration of new technologies into the global financial architecture has become. Let me briefly outline the key research themes you will encounter over the next 2 days. A set of papers examines the transformation of payment systems and foreign exchange markets through stablecoin and blockchain-based financial infrastructure, documenting the rapid growth of stablecoin-based transactions, decentralized foreign exchange trading, and alternative cross-border payment rails. Other papers study spillovers from stablecoin adoption into broader financial markets. These papers test whether stablecoin flows can affect exchange rates, dollar funding conditions, covered interest rate parity deviations, and cross-border capital movements. A major theme of the conference concerns the relationship between stablecoins and U.S. safe assets. Some papers explore how dollar-backed stablecoins may create a new channel linking global liquidity demand directly to U.S. Treasury markets. Finally, a couple of papers revisit classic international finance question through the lens of digital innovation, asking whether stablecoins may reinforce the dollar's global role by extending access to dollar-denominated instruments worldwide, or whether they may introduce new tensions into the international monetary system by changing the nature of financial intermediation, safe asset demand, and cross-border capital flows. We are very fortunate to have an outstanding set of papers and participants helping us think through these issues over the next 2 days.
Our next tweet comes from Eleanor Tourette. New, there's a renewed sense of urgency among GOP lawmakers to get the Clarity Act passed, I'm told. It's being driven by heightened political pressures following the fallout from the housing bill, as well as the realization that time is running short. When senators return from recess on July 13th, they'll have just 20 working days, roughly 4 weeks, to get the legislation through the Senate and back to the House before the August recess. They depart Washington today with a handful of key issues still unresolved, including ethics, but that's not facing some industry leaders like A16Z's Miles Jennings, who says the pressure and time constraints could ultimately create the conditions needed to strike a deal. Solana Institute President Kristen Smith lays out why she believes there's still a path forward to getting the Clarity Act passed next month. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Just in, U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis announced live on Fox Business that the Clarity Act will be brought to the Senate floor in July. Let's watch this video.
I spoke with Jamie Dimon just a couple of weeks ago, and he was not happy with where the Clarity Act is right now because he is expecting that the crypto companies will be able to pay rewards, and he says it's not fair. They're not banks. They are not insured the way banks are. Here's our exchange. Watch this, Senator.
So are you happy with the way the Clarity Act is turning out?
No. No, because it allows them to effectively pay interest on deposits, stable coins or something like that, without the protection that they should have. And it doesn't do anything for AML BSA. It has almost no legal protections. So no, the banks will not accept it that way.
They won't
and
accept
the
it.
ABA, the small banks, the credit unions, it's not just the big guys. I'm not worried about stablecoin, but if it happened, I'm telling you, I would have nothing to do with it, and it would eventually blow up on its own. Okay, but that's my personal thing. But I do understand the concern of all the other banks. So,
Well, the markup is coming. I mean, what are you going to do about it?
it is. We'll fight it. If we lose, we lose, and we'll live.
Yeah. Okay.
But it will be fought. This will not be. No one's going to bow down to this guy, okay, or that company. And but he's the only one.
Yeah.
And he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars in Washington on this thing.
He said he's representing the whole
He's
industry.
full of
Senator, your thoughts?
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Dimon is mistaken about the Clarity Act. He needs to read it over July 4th. He will see that his concerns are addressed in Section 301. He thought there was a big loophole there. We closed what he saw as a loophole. We've made changes. We have AML and I think 16 provisions, Maria, to protect against illicit finance. We have multiple provisions addressing the application of AML to digital assets. He's simply mistaken about the bill. I strongly encourage him to read the bill. He can sit in his nice chair on the beach over the 4th of July, and he needs to read the bill.
But
Real quick, if this helped, press the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to people who want the truth, not hype. And press the subscribe button if you're done being sold the moon. I've already got your next one right here. Go!